Age works out of abandoned homes and buildings. If he's discovered, death is swift and certain.
If I got 20 guys trying to come into a room that I set up a hide in and we're shooting at each other all day, I want ammo. I want a weapon that